Okay, this is John Pilger's book, Hidden Agendas. It's got an introduction. I'm going to attempt to read it here. Let's just, there we go. There is something in journalism called Slow News Day. This usually falls on a Sunday or during the holiday period when the authorized sources of information are at rest. Nothing happens then, apart from acts of God and disorder in faraway places, it's alleged, or not faraway places, or no acts of disorder in faraway places. It's generally agreed that the media show cannot go on while the cast is away. In Britain, blah blah, in Britain, on what is still lauded as the best television service in the world, only 3% of peak time programmes feature anything about the majority of humanity, and almost all of that is confined to the minority channels, if you exclude Clive James laughing at the Japanese. In the media's global village, other nations do not exist, unless they are useful to us. Footnote 3. Regardless of the BBC's enduring facade of impartiality and standards, news is now openly ideological and uniform as the demands of the market supercults are met. When slow news is included, it's more than likely dressed in a political and social vocabulary that ensures the truth is lost. Thus, in Britain, as in the United States and Australia, the systematic impoverishment of a quarter of the population is routinely filed under underclass, an American term describing a corrupting antisocial group outside society. The solution to poverty, which is the return of vast wealth taken from the poor by the rich, is seldom given a public airing. The new system of capitalism for the powerless and socialism for the powerful, under which the former are persecuted and the latter are given billions in public subsidies, is rarely identified as such. Terms like modernization are preferred. Wars can be notoriously slow news. Not the fireworks, of course. Indeed, like fast food, the whiz-bang of war has been made convenient for the consumer at home in front of the TV set. The Gulf War in the year 1991, and as I read this, I was about 19 years old in 1991. It's now 2024 as I read this. The Gulf War was in 1991 was reported as a technological wonder, an event of bloodless science in which rejoiced one editorial writer. There were miraculously few casualties. Footnote 4. It was one of the most covered wars in history, yet few journalists reported the truth, still widely unknown, that 250,000 Iraqis were wantonly slaughtered or died unnecessary deaths. Footnote 5. Now, in 1991, I was in Britain and I never saw very much of the Gulf War until a book came out about 10 years later. That was it. Since the Bloodfest, the fate of the children of Iraq has been slowest of news. Who knows that at least 500,000 children have died as a result of economic sanctions imposed by Western powers? Who understands that the sanctions are aimed not at bringing down Saddam Hussein or deterring him from building some mythical nuclear bomb, but at preventing the market competition of Iraqi oil from forcing down the price of oil produced by Saudi Arabia, the West's most important Middle Eastern proxy next to Israel, the biggest arms customer. So the children of Iraq are unpeople. So that's 500,000 people have been wantonly slaughtered to death since 1991. And the British Broadcasting Company has watered it down. The Gulf War, all about oil prices. So I suggest you all get the Hidden Agenda book, because if that's the opening, the rest of it's going to be one huge necessary story to tell.